Everybody. So yeah, now we have the hard part where I have to take the. I basically want to split all the code that was in the scene service up into two different things. And one thing I was thinking might be really useful is to like actually just go in this scene service and just like remove like scenes and then fix everywhere where it's broken. Um, you know, like here I need scenes. Okay, so what I should just pass the scene in. This one doesn't need scenes, but it does call setup scene. So it actually and it actually is getting a scene item, but it looks like it would also need the scene. Um, so that it can update the colors basically is what ends up happening in the setup scene. So, maybe that would be a way of partially doing it because basically right now I have a scenes that everybody's using here, and then I have a scenes in this three scenes. But and trying to like lift and shift all this stuff, just all of it all at once is probably going to be pretty darn complicated and difficult. But if I maybe I could piecemeal it and in the same thing make all these functions more pure. And if you don't know, like pure means that it's always going to do the same thing every time, and it has everything it needs to do. It never needs to interact with the state. So like it gets everything, it does it, and the biggest benefit is that when you have a pure function, it's a lot easier to unit test because it's like it has everything it needs. You don't have to do a bunch of like sort of bootstrapping ahead of time of setting up a thing, setting up the state so that it can run properly. Um, so I think I'm going to try that. So basically, everything's going to break here. I'm just going to remove this scenes, right? So stuff should break inside of this. Like for example, this thing is expecting the scene ID. So now I know that I'm expecting to set that to -1. Um, yeah, and already, yeah, we have issues. Um, Scenes, okay, because I set up the new three scene here. So, yeah, so that, like, right off the bat is going to be extremely difficult. Um, so, I guess I'm still going to try that. So, let's go back to our three scene service and say, so I have a setup scene that returns that. So, the returns that ID. So, Um, what I'm going to do is this is crazy. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just get rid of this again, and I'm going to set this to -1. One, and then I'm going to tell this that it's going to get a scene, and that is a scene, and that is a I think it's just a scene, right? It's this thing. Oh, pain in the butt. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out here. Let's see. Yeah, that's the three scene. And then this is just going to update the scene. And then it has to, we'll tell that this is going to get a scene. And this is clearly not how we want to do this in the end, but I think I don't even know if this is going to work. And scene, we're going to pass it our scene. And so basically that does, if we can make this work somehow, that does work pretty good because it is a lot more like, you know, makes more sense. It's easier to reason about. Um, Okay, so we need this scene item to get the scene. So first of all, when I hit save, it's going to break everything uh, in our ThreeJS service. It's going to break stuff in here. So, well, one good thing is I guess we don't ever actually publish the list of scenes, so that's good. Because I was wondering, about that. But here we got setup scene. So we need to get our scene from the three scene service. So we actually do have one, and we have um, so we will already have a scene available, and because it gets created over here. So let's go back. Let's see, Alt left, hill, Alt left. Okay, so this dot scene or three scene service, ThreeJS scene service dot scenes 0. And I don't know that. I mean, well, I don't know. It seems like what I really want to do is get a getter that returns that, like get scenes or something. So let's see. Maybe I already did that. I don't know. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's create like get scene, and it doesn't accept anything, and it returns the scene. Returns a scene item and return scenes 0. And I needed this in front of it. And we do not need a semicolon in there. It's a Monday. It's a Thursday for you, I think. Simple arithmetic has become quite the challenge for me recently. Um, so so instead of that, I want to say get scene. I feel pretty good about that. Let's see. Update scene gets the scene item that's passed into it. Oh, and it also needs to get the scene, comma, this dot 3. Now, update scene will, if all goes well, we'll never need to know anything about this scene. But the reason it needs get scene is because let's go look at update scene. Well, so right now, I think I have an issue in that. So I'm getting the scene, right? The ThreeJS scene service, and I used to set the ID of the scene via this. But now I'm hard coding it. Let's see, scene service. I'm hard coding it to -1, and I don't know if there's any implications to that. I don't know. I actually do know that I end up using that. So whenever I set up the scene now, I do need to, I guess, update our scene item. Um, which, this setup scene function itself is not long for this world. So this is okay, that this is a bit like not what I want. Is equal to scene. Okay, so that gets set there, and that's good. Now let's go back over here. Okay, this service scene service scenes for each scene. What does this guy do? Reset the clock. Okay, so this, I think it's okay to change this to 3 scene service. Scenes. Now, yeah, and that's okay because it got set, but I probably should do a get scenes function over there since we're trying to be good eggs right now. Get scenes. Turn this scenes. So I think that like when you use like any of the modern state managements, they're very careful to not actually give you an actual reference to these state objects. And right now I'm just returning the scenes objects, so that means like some code could modify and cause unintended consequences. Um, I'm not that worried about it because I'm the only one working on this right now, and this code here, I don't know. I don't know. I'll think about it. I might change my mind in the near future. Okay, so I got more problems. Okay, this. I do feel like we are going in the right direction. Um, scene. Let's see. What's next? What's next? This dot 3 scene service 3JS dot get scenes. Let's go right here. I should have just copied that. I do think that this is easier to sort of reason about right here. Like that reads more like a human natural language. It's like 3JS scene service, get the scene, remove this mesh from it. I think that is a little bit easier to understand than what I had before. Um, this JSR get scene and add the mesh. I do like that a lot better. I hope it works. Looks like I got a couple more. I really, it's like it's interesting, like the more and I guess I like this like whenever you're like um, working on stuff and the more you do it, the more you like it. That's a good thing. Oh man, I thought that was it. Okay, so that is compiling. I think before I think it does make sense to Let's just see what happens if I make this private. I think that's cool. Okay, so now really anything, yeah, anything at all should prove that it works. So I do think that is a step in the right direction. Like I think this code now is officially done. I mean, there's nothing really more. Getting the scenes makes sense. I do think that that it was a really good approach that I had never really thought of before, and that's to um, come in and just start deleting the state variables. And as you delete the state variables, um, oh, I guess the animation is pretty important because that's the thing that uses the ID, which is the thing that um, the only code that was kind of weird. Okay, yeah, so that's weird. It needs the ID of the scene in order to be able to do that, and it is, and so I think that's right. Let's just make sure there's nothing broken in the, yeah. So that's awesome, blossom. So I'm pretty happy with that. 16 minutes. I'm moderately happy with that amount of time. I think tomorrow the next step would be to do kind of the same thing, but for I guess yeah, these two. Just delete those two and fix whatever gets broken, and then um, I guess it makes sense to um, so does this, so this doesn't return anything, so this one is going to need probably to return the scene item, and then um, uh, updating the scene in the other side will who knows, who knows, I'll worry about that tomorrow. But anyways, yeah, so that will um, removing both of these, and they already exist over in the Showtime service. Yes, they already have this here, and I already have get scene. Wow, I already have get scene and get scenes. So that was cool. And then and then move that over. Hopefully that goes okay. And then I guess probably like just removing setup scene and fixing whatever gets broken from that, and then removing update scene and fixing. This one is going to be the hardest because this has actually got two pieces to it. It does both of the jobs of both of these, so that will probably have to be two calls on the other side. But when I delete it, I'll know, okay, there'll be like Showtime update scene, and then it'll be uh, ThreeJS setup scene. And then it might even make sense, instead of calling it setup scene, calling it update scene or something like that. Or have, yeah, who knows if update is different than setup. It doesn't really matter, I guess. Um, but I think this is really cool. I think we've got something. I think I'm onto something here, on a good way to sort of do this, because it is going to be a lot harder to do this for like the light service. Um, light service has a bunch more complexity, and it has a lot more coupling in between the light objects and the three light objects. Um, so that's going to be harder, but I think that does read a lot better now. The changes that we have in place in here, I think, wrong one, in here, nope, in here, I think these changes read a lot better. This ThreeJS service like we know we're getting a ThreeJS object. There's no question about it. We don't have to go in there and figure out, oh, what kind of object am I getting? Um, just stuff like that. So I think that this is the right thing to do. I feel good. I feel real good. Anyways, everybody, I hope you feel good too. Happy coding. Bye.